In the autumn of 1922, the streets of New York City descended into chaos. Gangs roamed the sidewalks, fights broke out, and people were injured and arrested. The cause of all this violence was not money or politics or crime. It was a hat, specifically the Straw Hat. For several days, the great city went to war over what men should wear on their heads. This is the bizarre true story of the Straw Hat Riot. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story: the Straw Hat Riot. To understand how a city could riot over headwear, we have to step back into the world of the early 20th century, when hats were not optional. In that era, a respectable man simply did not go outside without a hat. To be bareheaded in public was considered improper, even shocking. Hats were a vital part of a man's outfit, a marker of his status, his respectability, and his place in society. Every man wore one. And there were rules. Strict, unwritten rules about which hats were appropriate and when. Fashion in those days was governed by a rigid social code. One of the most popular hats of the summer season was the straw boater. A stiff, flat-topped, flat-brimmed hat made of straw, light and cool for the warm months. The straw boater was the hat of summer. Men across the city wore them through the hot months, a cheerful sight on the crowded sidewalks. But the straw hat was strictly a summer item. As the weather cooled in the autumn, fashion demanded that men switch to a felt hat instead. And this is where the trouble began. Because there was an unofficial deadline, a date after which wearing a straw hat was considered a serious fashion crime. By tradition, this cutoff fell in mid-September. After that date, no self-respecting man was supposed to be seen wearing a straw hat. The summer was over. The exact date varied, but it was widely understood to be around the 15th of September. Wear your straw hat after that, and you were breaking the rules. Now there was a strange and aggressive custom attached to this rule. If a man was caught wearing a straw hat past the deadline, others felt entitled to knock it off his head. And not just knock it off. The custom was to grab the offending straw hat, throw it to the ground, and stomp on it, destroying it entirely. This was usually meant in fun, a kind of rough seasonal prank, especially among young men and boys. A bit of mischief to mark the change of season. For years, this had been a relatively harmless, if rowdy, tradition. A few crushed hats, a few laughs, and life went on. But in 1922, things got out of hand. What had always been a bit of seasonal fun would, that autumn, tip over into something genuinely dangerous, sweeping across the city in a way no one expected. The setting was New York City in September of 1922, a brash, crowded, energetic city in the middle of the roaring 20s. The spark, as is often the case, came from young people pushing the boundaries. A group of youths decided to start the hat smashing a little early, before the official deadline. On the east side of Manhattan, near the docks, gangs of young men began snatching and stomping straw hats, even though the proper date had not yet arrived. Their early targets included a group of dock workers. And these were not men who took kindly to having their hats destroyed. The dock workers fought back. What might have been a bit of harmless mischief instead turned into a genuine brawl, spilling out into the streets. The fight grew large enough to stop traffic on a nearby bridge, and the police had to be called in to break it up. But the trouble was only just beginning. Word of the clashes spread, and over the following days, the hat smashing exploded across the city, far beyond a few rowdy youths. Gangs of young men, sometimes hundreds strong, roamed the streets of New York, hunting for anyone wearing a straw hat. They armed themselves, in some cases, with sticks that had nails driven through them, the better to spear and rip the hats from people's heads. What had been a light-hearted tradition had tension curdled into something genuinely menacing. The city was gripped by days of escalating violence. Men who refused to give up their hats or who fought back were beaten. The roving gangs did not always stop at simply destroying the offending headwear. People were knocked down. Fights broke out on street corners and in subway stations. The chaos spread across multiple neighborhoods of the city. The violence was indiscriminate. Some of those targeted were not even breaking the supposed rule, but were attacked simply for wearing a straw hat at all. The police were overwhelmed. Officers struggled to control the roaming gangs, making numerous arrests as the disorder rippled through the streets. Some men, it was reported, were sent to the hospital with injuries received while defending their hats or while being caught up in the brawls. It was a genuinely dangerous situation. For several days, a simple item of summer fashion had turned parts of New York into a battleground. The newspapers covered the chaos with a mix of alarm and amusement. The Straw Hat Riot, as it came to be known, was front-page news. The sheer absurdity of it all was not lost on people, even at the time. A city descending into violence over the seasonal etiquette of hats. And yet, beneath the comedy, there was real harm being done. The authorities and city leaders called for calm and for the violence to stop. Magistrates who dealt with the arrested rioters took a dim view of the chaos, handing out fines and warnings and scolding those involved for their foolishness. One judge reportedly remarked on the ridiculousness of grown men rioting over hats and the danger such mob behavior posed to ordinary citizens. Gradually, after several days, the violence began to die down. The initial frenzy burned itself out, and the police regained control of the streets. The Straw Hat Riot of 1922 came to an end, leaving behind injuries, arrests, a great many ruined hats, and a thoroughly bewildered city. It was not even the only time this happened. There had been straw hat scuffles in earlier years, and there would be more incidents in the years that followed. But the 1922 riot was by far the most severe and famous, the moment when the strange tradition spiraled most dramatically out of control. In the aftermath, the whole affair stood as a strange lesson in how a small social custom, taken too far by a crowd, can erupt into real chaos. It is a vivid example of mob mentality, of how quickly a bit of seasonal mischief can escalate when enough people get swept up in it. What began as a harmless prank among a few young men became, within days, a citywide outbreak of violence. No one planned it, no one led it, and yet a great metropolis was briefly consumed by it. But it also marked something larger. The Straw Hat Riot came near the end of the great age of the hat, as fashions were slowly beginning to change. In the decades that followed, the strict rules around hats gradually relaxed. The custom of switching hats by a fixed date and smashing those who did not faded away. Eventually, hats themselves became far less universal. The day would come when most men went bareheaded without a second thought, something unthinkable in 1922. And so the very idea of rioting over straw hats came to seem like a relic of a strange, vanished world with its rigid codes and seasonal rules. Today, the Straw Hat Riot is remembered as one of the most absurd episodes in the history of New York. A reminder of just how seriously people once took their fashion. It is hard to imagine, now, a city tearing itself apart over what men wore on their heads. And yet, for a few wild days in 1922, that is exactly what happened. A simple summer hat, an unwritten rule, and a city that briefly lost its mind. The strange and unforgettable story of the Straw Hat Riot.